Black skies of velvet and chrome.
Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain,
I'm Lynn.
and today we're going to be showing you and talking about and showing you how to play Gorinto. I want to give a big thank you to Grand Gamers Guild for sending us this copy of Gorinto to play and review and film some content with. Big thank you, Grand Gamers Guild. Now, Gorinto is designed by Richard Yanner here on the front cover. And before we get too into reviewing Gorinto, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, which is a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's also a link to my Teespring store where you can get yourself some cool Board Game Captain merch, t-shirts, and mugs. And there's a link to my Patreon if you're in a position to and would like to support the channel. So what do we got on the stats on this one?
I was looking, they list the contents on the back, which I've never seen that done before.
Oh, that is really cool. So it's listed as ages 14 and up for 1 to 4 players and for 30 minutes. So let's start with the 14 and up. Maybe?
That's a little high.
I don't know. Like, I think it there's a lot going on here. It's kind of an advanced drafting abstract game, but I don't know if I'm kind of like it could be accurate, but like maybe a year less, maybe 13. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I would say 12 and up.
12. All right. I'm disagreeing with you a little bit, but not much. Now the 1 to 4 players. There's a solo mode in here, which is really cool. And by the way, this is the Kickstarter version that they've given us to review. The Kickstarter version at the time of this filming is still available on the Grand Gamers Guild website, so you can get that. It comes with some deluxe components and also a mini expansion. But all of the stuff needed to play the regular game is also available in the regular version of this game. Whenever there's something that is different from the Kickstarter version to the regular version, we'll mention that. Now, the solo version is in both. So 1 to 4 players. One thing I have to mention is there is a slight rule difference at 2 players between that and the 3 and 4 player version. Mm-hmm. And also the 1 player version has a totally different like AI system with the Kitsune, right?
Yes.
Now, as for the 30 minutes, yeah, that seems pretty accurate to me.
That's accurate.
Yeah, it's like a middleweight game, but it plays pretty quickly. I definitely think this is weightier than a lightweight. This feels like a midweight to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at what comes in here because the components are gorgeous. I do want to say I love this classic style, beautiful, classic looking cover with the spot optics. Everything about this game is just beautiful in my opinion. So first thing we've got here, I'll pass this to you while I look at the rules here. Now the rule book is a total, with optional rules, of 8 pages. And it's full color, tons of diagrams, very easy to understand, very good explanations. I have no complaints about this rule book. I shot through this in maybe 10 minutes and was ready to play it and try it out and teach other people. So I did not really have a problem. So why don't you show...
We got a bag full of plastic pieces that you can stack.
Now, the bag is great because there's some blind drawing to set up. Very important. The tiles look nice. They're bright, different colors. Like here you can see like an aqua color. Would you say aqua? Or teal? What do you think? I'm always have trouble with those.
It's like a turquoise.
Turquoise, okay.
Heading towards teal.
I was totally wrong. You've got a purple one. You've got a brown one here. There's orange ones. There's light blue ones. They all have Japanese.
Like a gray.
It's like a slate gray blue. It's like a light blue.
There's no blue in that.
Okay, great. They have Japanese characters on them, which they themselves are done in the calligraphy style and are like works of art themselves. Very pretty. My only issue with the tiles a little bit is they do have a tendency to stick together. We have cases like here. These come out already attached. And the thing is, like when these stick together, sometimes on the board it can be a minor issue. This is a very minor thing. We'll talk about it a little more in the gripe section. But otherwise, these are great. They're clicky and clacktastic. They look great. They're durable. And the bag is great for the random draws, I think. We've got player boards of the different colors. And they're two-sided. You have one side with the names of the elements. And the other side without, with just, I guess, probably the Japanese name for the element. I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also... they're color coded, so I
So,
don't see
yeah.
the point in having
The names.
this. Yeah.
Well, it's whether you want them or not, and
I
that's
don't
cool.
know.
It's up to your preference. You've got the board, which looks really nice. There's actually two boards, but the main play board is this one here, which looks like a wood slat, either like play mat or table that you put the tiles on a stone table, with a great cheat sheet. I love this little cheat sheet on the side here to show you how you can draft with the different elements. It's very nicely done. The board looks good, not super attention getting though, dull colors, but that's fine because then you put the bright colors of the tiles on it and it becomes amazingly attention getting. So I guess you wouldn't want the board to distract from the bright tiles, so that's good. We've got this nice little scoreboard. Also puts the goal tiles. You'll see when we're showing you how to play the game. We've got cards. The cards are pretty self-explanatory because it's a bunch of cards really for the goals mostly. It's you've got the preferred elements, which will have the picture and the name of the element on it, and then you have goal cards, which tell you exactly how you can score extra points. And there's a lot of these, and I like these because they keep each game different and varied. These alone, and we're going to talk about that when we're doing the review, there's a ton of varied ways to play this game. But these alone, even without the varied ways to play the game, are fantastic. Go ahead, what you got there?
Oh, the little markers for keeping score.
Very, very
just
cool. They're little wooden markers.
Yeah, they're
Now,
not the best colors, but that's
oh, you're not a big fan of the colors?
they're just a weird combination of colors to
Yellow,
me.
red, white, and black.
Yeah, I don't know. Not what I would have chosen.
You would want a blue. That's what it is. We've got a bunch of extra tokens for things like first player markers and such, but we are
and like the one player stuff is in
yes. But we are using the Kickstarter version, which has some deluxe components. If you get the Kickstarter version, you get this awesome little stone pagoda shrine, which is what a Gorinto is. A Gorinto is like a roadside shrine in Japan. You get a little plastic one, whereas in the regular version it's made of two cardboard pieces that slot together, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're fine with that. But I really like the deluxe plastic piece. I really like how it looks on the table. And the other thing, which is less necessary but still gorgeous, because they have a first player marker that's a wooden punch out token, but instead in the Kickstarter version you get a little bronze coin with again with Japanese characters on it, and it's so pretty. And then a final thing, which we're going to talk a little bit about for the review at the end, there's a mini expansion in here with an extra set of tiles and a little rule card that explains to you how to use them. So again, if you get the Kickstarter version, you will get all this. So we're going to head over. And I do want to show these tiles real quick. These tiles here, the extra ones, have a dragon on them, which is really cool. All right, so we're going to head over to the table. We're going to show you how a regular game of this plays without any of the extra stuff. We're going to use the deluxe, pagoda and first player token, but then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how this game plays and feels. We're going to talk about all the variants, and then we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we are set up to play a two-player game of Gorinto. So I am on this side of the board, and I'm going to be playing as the red player.
I'm over here, and I'm going to be playing white
So now to start with, Lynn, I'm going to give you the option. Would you like to go first or second?
first.
Okay, so here's the first player token. Now Lynn will place that next to her board to remind us all that she is the first player. Quick reminder, that first player token is a special deluxe token, and this is a deluxe pagoda here as well. The standard one, there was a cardboard punch-out first player token and a cardboard punch-out pagoda that you use to keep track of the seasons. So in order to set up to play the game of Gorinto, you have to use the tiles all shuffled up and randomized in the bag and draw them out to the board. The standard setup for the board is 4 tiles in the center of the mountain, 3 tiles in each space around that, 2 tiles in each space around that, and 1 tile each in the spaces of the path around those 2 sides of the board. You set up the score tracking board here. You place the pagoda on the first season, and you place your score tracking pieces here right before the 1 point space to keep track of every player's score. You also then randomly deal up 2 goal cards and 2 key element cards onto the board here to show you that in this current game we're playing, we have the key elements of Void and Earth, so they will be more valuable at the end of the game than all other elements. And our scoring cards we have for this game, which these all help to add a lot of replayability by making the games very varied. Our scoring cards say, score your tallest stack and also any stack tied with it, score your shortest stack and also any stacks tied with it. And then score the stack in the middle 3 times. When it says the middle, it means you organize your stacks in height order, and whichever one is third tallest or third shortest, same thing really, you get to score it. Now scoring it means you get a number of points equal to the height of those stacks. Now, we're going to be playing through all 4 seasons. At the end of every season, we score based on the scorecards. After the 4th season and the final scoring, we score 2 points based on all of the preferred tiles that we have managed to get, all of the preferred elements. In the case of this game, Void and Earth. The possible elements being Void, Wind, Fire, Water, and Earth. Now, we're going to start going, and on your turn, what you're going to do is for the first turn here, you're going to choose one of the tiles in the path. Lynn is going first, and she's going to take that tile and move it to anywhere within its particular column or row. Wherever she moves it to, she then gets to draft tiles from around it based on the diagrams here. Now, as you see, Lynn moved a wind tile, which allows you to draft any of the orthogonally adjacent tiles, so she drafted one there. Now, the one she drafted was a void tile, and she put it on her board, so in the future, when using a void tile to move, because she's already got one void tile, she'll actually get to draft more tiles. So you always get to draft a number of tiles equal to 1 plus the number of the tile you moved that you already control. So now it's my turn to go, and I am going to choose to move this fire tile here. I'm going to move it to this space here, and now fire lets me draft anywhere in its column, and I'm going to take this earth tile from the top of this stack here and move it to my personal board. And now same thing as with Lynn, if I use a earth tile, I will get to draft an extra tile. Now it is Lynn's turn for her second draft, and in a 2-player game, starting on your second turn and on, you also then will discard one of the tiles from the path. So Lynn has chosen wisely to use a void tile because this means she's going to get to draft 2 tiles, which is really good.
Yeah.
Now, the void tiles draft diagonally adjacent to them, so Lynn gets to pick 2 of the tiles that are on tops of stacks diagonally adjacent. She cannot take 2 from the same stack, so it's got to be 2 different stacks. Which means that in the case of Void, you are limited to a maximum of 4 tiles. Most of the tiles limit you to a maximum of 4, except the Earth tile, because it is the only one that allows you to take them from anywhere within the stack you placed it on itself. So you could actually, if you place it on a stack higher than 4 high, you could actually potentially draft even more than 4 tiles.
I'm going to discard the Earth.
Very good. So my turn then?
Yes.
So now Lynn wisely discarded that Earth because I already have an Earth, which means she has made it so I'm not going to be able to draft 2 tiles, you diabolical person, you. Now, I am instead then going to have to move my, I'm going to move this water tile here, and I'm going to place it here. Now, water tiles allow you to draft anywhere from the row, and I am going to draft I'm going to draft another earth tile anyway. I'm going to prepare for round 2 now. And then I'm going to discard one of the void tiles here.
I'm going to do this.
Okay, so anywhere in that row and take
fire and a wind.
Yes. Wow.
And then I'm going to discard one of those.
Okay, well played. I'm going to move this wind tile, and I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to take a void tile with it. And then I will discard the void tile, and that will end the first round, or first season. So now we're going to score. Now, you score the tallest stack. In my case, that is 2, so I'm going to get 2 points from that. Lynn has all of her stacks even at 1, so she gets 5 points. Well done, Lynn. Then it says score your shortest stack. My shortest is 0. I get no points from that. Again, Lynn's stacks are all even, which means she gets another 5 points and skyrockets up to 10. Well played, Lynn. Now, the second of the scoring cards is the score the stack in the middle 3 times. Now, you organize your stacks in height order. My stack in the middle, because it goes 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, is a 0, so I get no points for that. Lynn, again, has a 1, so scoring it 3 times, Lynn gets another 3 points. At the end of a season, we move the season marker, the pagoda, onto the next season area. If there were any tiles left out, which there would be in a 3 or 4 player game, we would discard them, because they don't discard during the turn in a 3 or 4 player game like you do in a 2 player game. And then we deal new tiles out into the path, as you can see us doing here. The start player coin is passed to the player who has the lowest score. That's me. So I'm going to start off for round 2 here. So I'm going to activate this earth tile because I do have already 2 earth tiles on my board, which means I'll be able to draft up to 3 from it. And I'm going to go here, taking all 3 of the tiles that are here, and I'm placing the earth tile there. You're never allowed to to draft the tile that you moved. And that's going to be it for my first turn.
I'm going to do this water, go here and take a void and an earth.
And that was, again, because you already have 1 water.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to move this water. I already have 2 waters on my board, so that means I get to draft 3. And I'm going to move it to here. So the 3 I'm going to draft a fire, I'm going to draft a void, and I'm going to draft a wind. And that means now I have all of the elements on my board, so I will be better prepared for scoring in the next round. And since this is my second round, I'm going to have to discard 1 from the path. Lynn has 2 void there, which is fairly powerful. I'm going to discard the void from the path here.
I'm going to move this earth to here.
Ah.
Take those 3. And I'm going to discard that earth.
Oh. That was kind of mean. I wanted that earth. I'm going to take this fire. I'm going to move it to here. And now, because I already have a fire, I get to draft 2. So I'm going to take this wind and this fire from my board. And that will be it for me.
You got to discard.
Oh, yes, I do have to discard 1. I'm going to discard that fire.
I'm going to go here. And I'm going to take a wind and a void.
Well played. Well played. Okay, so now we're up to scoring again. So again, our tallest stack, and any stack that is tied with it, I have a tallest stack of 3, so I'm going to get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Lynn?
I have 2 stacks of 3.
So Lynn gets 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shortest stack, I have 4 stacks that are all tied for shortest with 2 each. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, which is fantastic. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I move all the way up to 13 points. Lynn, what do you got?
I have 3 stacks of 2.
So another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually, I closed the gap by a couple points there, so that wasn't too bad. Then we have to do our middle stack 3 times, which in both of our cases is a 2. So that is another 6 points for each of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is how you play the game of Gorinto. You keep going through rounds until you have moved on all the way and done the last season. Again, at the end of the last season, you get 2 points for each of the preferred elements for this particular game. In this case, Earth and Void, which if you notice, Lynn and I have been trying to get a fair amount of Earth and Void. We both have 5 total when you combine our Earth and Void numbers. And that's because you do want to have a lot of Earth and Void, but you also want to have fairly, in the case of this game, fairly even numbers throughout your stacks. It's not always the case, but because of what the goals are. So you play 4 seasons, and then you score your preferred elements, and then whoever has the highest point total wins the game of Gorinto. So now we're going to head back over. We're going to talk about how this game plays and feels. We're going to talk about the various alternate ways you can play this game, as well as how it plays at different player counts, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. That was how you play a game of Gorinto. So we actually went through about half a game on the 2-player version. So, all right, now we're going to kind of be gushing. There's going to be a lot of positives, but let's start with the negatives because there are a couple negatives to call out. I'm going to start with you, Lynn. Do you have a negative you'd like to draw attention to with Gorinto?
setup takes quite a while to stack all the stuff out. And then in between each season, you have to again reset up, but not the middle, just the ends, which kind of cuts down, but still.
There is a bit of there's definitely a bit of setup time. There's a bit of extra setup time, like you say, between seasons. I agree. That is definitely something to take into consideration. My first negative I'd like to call attention to, I already said it before in the beginning a little bit. The tiles have a tendency to stick together, and it can be a problem. In fact, I think you saw one of the tiles while we were showing you how to play the game. I was having trouble getting it off, and the next one stuck to it. It's a minor issue.
I think it's just because it's you want them to be snug, but not too snug.
And they're kind of a little too snug. So now, okay, minor issue. Because generally speaking, the production on this game is amazing. This is just my one production gripe, is that the tiles have a tendency to get stuck together. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so another negative, or?
I don't think I have any more.
No?
No.
My other one is, we showed you a 2-player game, which we both agree that we quite like how 2-player games play in this. But Lynn, you said you preferred it to.
Yes, that's actually
your preferred way to play.
Yeah, I have a different score whether it's 2 players or other players.
Well, the totality of it should give you your whole score, though. But we'll get to that in a moment. Okay. The point I was going to be making was I have a minor gripe with the 2-player version. Now, I actually think this is a little better at 3 and 4. And my reasoning is that thing where you discard 1 tile on your second and third turn each season is a little fiddly.
But see, that's a plus for me because I feel that makes it a bit more strategic.
It's very strategic.
Because you get to, I know what tiles you like to use. And you can also see, if there's 1 fire tile and you have, a stack of 3 fire
I'm gonna get rid
on
of
your
it.
thing, I'm going to get rid of that fire tile.
It's true, and I agree with you that is more strategic. It's just that because you don't do it the first time and you do it the second and the third time, it can be a little fiddly with remembering, oh, wait, do I do it? Oh, no, I don't do it this time. This is the first time. And the second time, oh, I forgot to do it. Oh, wait a second, I didn't discard 1. I've had that happen a couple times. I think after playing it about 3 times, you start to really remember.
Well, I don't have really any problems remembering. I think because I like that part. Okay. I like being able to mess with my
So we
opponent.
disagree. We disagree on that. That's fine.
I'm just looking forward to being how can I screw them over? Which
now,
one am I going to get rid of?
That's a fair point. And maybe we'll transition right into that because now we're going to talk about positives. So why don't you transition right into that? Because you're already talking about the strategy there.
That your last negative is my first positive, which is I like the 2 players and how you can mess with your opponent by getting rid of certain tiles, so they can't use them.
So you really enjoy that part of the strategy quite a bit. Because I was going to say, you've talked about it when we've been discussing this game. You've talked about how much you like that.
Yeah, because pretty much without that, you're pretty much playing just a stacking game by yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say that, and it, especially in the 3 and 4 player game, with the exception of taking tiles that your opponent wanted, there's very little interaction. Yeah. That's the one place in the 2-player game where there's a fair amount of interaction. Mm-hmm. All right, so my second thing is I was going to say is I love how each tile changes where you can draft from, and then the more you've collected of that tile, the more you've specialized in it, and therefore can draft more. And of course, I love that in our example game, randomly we drew the earth tiles as one of the 2 preferred elements, because I love using the earth tiles, because I love how occasionally you wind up with stacks of 5 and you can get all of those. Mm-hmm. Which if you've got enough, if you have 4 earth tiles or more and you land on a stack of 5, you can be like, oh, I'm going to take all 5. And they're the only one that can let you take more than 4, which is pretty freaking cool, which is why I absolutely love the earth tiles. They're also the only one that can allow you to take anything other than the top of a stack.
Yeah.
Which is really neat. So how about you? Another positive?
I like the scoring, how you score throughout the game.
Every round, and then...
Yeah, instead of just at the end.
And then you have the final scoring, too. So, and it's interesting because depending on what scoring cards come up, and also what preferred tiles, some scoring cards aren't as valuable as others. So sometimes there'll be some scoring cards that are not super valuable, and you'll just focus in on getting a lot of the preferred tiles because they'll be worth more. Because they're always worth the 2 points apiece at the end. Whereas other times scoring cards come up that are worth a ton, and you could be like, I don't even care about the preferred tiles. I can get so many points every season by using the scoring cards, which is pretty great. I just want to throw out, this game is gorgeous. Like you guys saw with it out on the tabletop with the stacks of all the different bright colors. I mean, some of them are bright. Okay, brown isn't a bright color, but there's a lot of really cool, different looking colors. You've got the purple and the orange and the blue and the white. You said slight gray is what you said.
It's like whitish gray.
Whitish gray. I think it's got a light blue to it. Anyway, all those various colors out there, and I love the look of the Japanese characters. I think Japanese is a gorgeous looking language, and Japanese calligraphy is just beautiful. This is a great looking game on the table. It has an amazing table presence, like really, really fantastic. What do you think of the look of this one?
Yeah, I like it.
But it's not one that you would.
No,
okay,
it's fine.
I love how it looks. How about you? Another positive?
No.
Okay. Do you have anything else you think we should talk about with Gorinto? Because I think I might be out of stuff to really talk about too.
No, I think that's fine.
I love the set collecting. I love the drafting. I love the variable scoring because it keeps this crazy new. Oh, we need to talk about the varied ways of play and everything.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we got to talk about some of the stuff. So first off, like I said, I'm going to leave the one extra gameplay mode that is unique to the Kickstarter version till the end, because if you buy a regular version of it, or if you see this video after the Kickstarter versions are no longer available, right now, again, they do have, Grand Gamers Guild has some on their website. I'll put a link in the description down below where you can get the Kickstarter versions. But if you see this video after they're no longer available, you won't be able to use those wild tiles. We're going to get to that in a second. But first I want to talk about all the varied ways you can play this, even if you just get the regular version. So first off, you've got the 2-player and the 3 and 4-player versions are slightly different. They do feel like different versions of a different game. But then they've got a solo version that's like super different. It's got like an AI system.
Yeah.
And then there's also a team version we looked at in there where you can actually do like 2-on-2. And what else do we have before?
There was the one with the whoever scores lower.
Oh, right.
Go in the order of the score from least to most.
Yeah, so
instead of going around in a circle.
Yeah, normally you go least points first and then clockwise. There's a variant where there are number tokens and you give them to each player based on where you are in the score order, and you go in reverse score order. So it helps everybody who's not doing as well to get a jump on drafting for the next round. And then and we almost forgot. The way we set up is the standard way to set up, but they have alternate ways to set up in here. They have 4 other ways. Instead of a mountain, there's a mesa, there's a lake, there's a hill, there's the waves, which all have different heights in different places than the normal setup. The lake has a 0 in the middle, and it gets larger on the way out, which is really, really cool. And then in addition, if you get the Kickstarter version, they also have the mini expansion in there with the dragon tiles, which the dragon tiles, you add them to the bag, and they're wild. So if you draft them from the board, you can place them anywhere. And if you have them in the path and you use them, when you use them, you have to declare what you're using them as. You're like, this is going to be a void. This is going to be a fire, and then it will act as a void or fire. And then, of course, it's on the board, and when someone else drafts it, again, they can be like, well, now it's an earth, because I want an earth, and earth is one of the preferred tiles. So that, again, that can add some more randomness to it, and also some more strategy in the 2-player, because you can be very choosy about how you use those and what you're drafting them as, which can be really cool. I think the amount of variety in this is just crazy cool. All right. Do you want to go first or second on the rating?
I'll go first.
All right. How many stars out of 10 are you going to give to Gorinto?
8. I was debating.
Okay. Wow.
Well, because it is, I guess, with the basic mechanics. I really like.
Yes.
Sometimes the scoring cards, you get ones that like contradict each other, and then
Well, you can score in either way.
Yeah, and then it's
other times you can definitely do both scorings.
Yeah, so I'm 8.
8 is very high though. 8 is a very high score. So you really, really like this game a lot then. I mean, you've been asking to play it a bunch lately, so it's not that surprising to me. This has been hitting the table a lot. We actually got this from the company at, I went to PAX Unplugged this year. Well, actually, probably by the time this video is coming out last year. And I got it from the company at PAX Unplugged, and since I got it, this has been hitting the table a lot. I really, really like this game a lot. I'm going to give Gorinto 8.5 stars out of 10. I love this game. This game is tons of fun. I really enjoy it. I'm only a little bit higher than you, but we're both really up there. This is a 2 thumbs way up review from us here at the Board Game Captain. Gorinto is freaking awesome. Highly recommended. If anything that you saw during the tutorial portion or anything we talked about sounds really cool to you, check it out. Really good game. This is a wonderful addition to my collection. I really like that we have a copy of this. So, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns on this video or on the game of Gorinto, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.